All right, boys and girls, Aaron Harwell here, back again, Fire Marshal for Perrysburg City. Now we're in our living room. You wouldn't think there's a whole lot of dangers in a living room, fire dangers, but just want to point out a few things that might be helpful for you and your family. First of all, most of you may have a fireplace in your home. If not, you probably know somebody who has one. Our handy dandy cone here serves as the fire for this demonstration. But typically, you want to make sure you have a screen in front of it or a glass. Sometimes people can just flip a switch and their fire starts. A lot of times, mom and dad have to start the fire in the firebox. So when that happens, we want to make sure we at least have a screen, and if not, close the doors. Reason for that is because if those embers that pop out, kind of like a bonfire, were to pop out and land on your carpeting, okay, that could start a fire. Most of us have the fireplaces with a glass over the top. You got to be careful because those do get hot, so we don't want to touch them. Okay, we want to stay away from them, but still enjoy the warmth. So when mom and dad start the fire in the fireplace, a couple of things that they could use is either matches or lighters. Okay, so matches and lighters. Do you think that boys and girls should be playing with matches and lighters? If your answer was no, you'd be correct. And the best thing to do when you see matches and lighters laying around your home is make sure to not touch them. Okay, we do not want to touch them. We want to make sure we tell mom and dad that the matches and lighters are on the counter or wherever they are for them to put them away, okay? Very important. Other things that you wouldn't think about in the living room is extension cords. We want to make sure we don't wrap it around furniture. We don't want to hide them under rugs because that could produce heat and potential fire. Just in case there is a fire in your house, one of the things I want to make sure that you understand is what number to call in case of emergency. You boys and girls know what number to call in case of emergency? If you said 911, you'd be correct. So I have a phone next to me. You probably don't see these very often, but a lot of times mom and dad and even you may have a cell phone. Okay, make sure that you use that phone to call 911. The things you want to know is what's the emergency. You want to make sure that you tell them and you know what your address is, so make sure you practice what your address is, phone number you're calling from, and you want to stay on the line and give them as much information as possible, okay? You never want to make a phone call if you have a house fire inside the house. You want to make sure you get out and you stay out, okay? If you don't have a phone, make sure you can also run to your neighbor's house, knock on their door. Hopefully their home, you can use their telephone to call 911. Very important. One thing, if you were to come in and see maybe that ember dropped on the carpeting and there's a fire in your living room, do you want to try to put the fire out or try to get out as fast as you can? If you said get out as fast as you can, you're right. You want to stay low and go. That smoke's going to rise up to the ceiling, okay, and it's going to start coming down towards you. So you want to make sure you stay low and get out as fast as you can. Once you get out of the house, boys and girls, what do you think you should do? You should always have a safe meeting place. If you don't learn anything today, make sure you go home and talk to mom and dad about a safe meeting place. That safe meeting place is important whether or not it's at your house, if you're staying at a friend's house, or even at a grandparent's house, okay? Make sure you always know where that house's safe meeting place is. That's a place that you're going to go outside and meet in case of a fire. So when the fire truck comes up and the firemen get off the truck, mom and dad can say, yep, we're all here and we're all safe. Okay, that's very, very important to us, and probably one of the most important things you're going to learn. So a couple more things I want to go over with you guys today is to always have an escape plan. There should always be two ways out of the house. One of those ways could be a door, another one could be a window if you can't get out the door. So always make sure you're able to open up the window by yourself, or if you can get out of the house, to make sure you get out of there as fast as you can. You always want to do these things with your parents' supervision, okay? Talk to them about a safe meeting place. Talk to them about an evacuation plan. Very, very important. And so sometimes if you're out roasting marshmallows or you're sitting next to the fire, that ember pops out and your clothes catch on fire, one thing we always want to stress, everybody should know that if their clothes were to catch on fire, they'd always want to stop, drop, and roll. Very important. You want to keep rolling, boys and girls, back and forth until that fire is totally extinguished, okay? The other thing you want to do is make sure you cover your face, okay? Covering your face will make sure that smoke does not get into your face. Very important. And finally, kids, I want to talk about smoke alarms briefly. We'll talk about it again in the bedroom. But smoke alarms are very important. As soon as you hear a smoke alarm, that means there's smoke in the house. And even if you're cooking, if mom and dad are cooking, it's during the day, everybody's awake, we always want to try to make sure that mom and dad know that that's a good time to actually execute our safety plan, our evacuation plan, and talk about our safe meeting place. These are all very important safety tips in the living room, boys and girls. I hope you learned something from this, and make sure you go home and talk to mom and dad about all the things that we talked about today. Thanks, and stay safe.